Did I just make it? Okay. All right. Call to order the Greenwood Redevelopment Commission on this the 13th day of September 2022. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Campbell,
Here.
Mr. Harris,
Chris.
Mr. Hopper.
Here.
Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Moan.
Here.
Non-voting advisor, Mr. Alexander is absent today.
Is there a motion? Or we have a quorum, sorry. All members are present, accounted for in person, none online. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our August meeting?
Motion that.
Second by Mr. Moan. Any questions? Corrections, deletions? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. So approved 5-0. All right. No new business. No business. Capital projects report. Bristol Road Sports Complex consideration of special purchase CXT precast concrete products. And there's a request to waiver to me.
Hi, I am here on behalf of Rob Taggart, the Parks Department, but also the Redevelopment Commission. This is the restroom building that will be very similar to the City Center Park. One, it will go up by the splash pad. It is a prefabricated concrete building. They try to make them very vandal resistant and teenager resistant. It's would go to serve as restrooms for the community park and splash pad. I think that's a changing room, which is the chase aspects of it. And the price of it is actually done through a cooperative purchase group, which we use sometimes, where a big agency basically agrees to certain costs. A lot of these are state parks and national parks. And so Rob has worked with their representatives on specifications. And I believe Amanda wants me to read a certain specific language if we do move forward with this, which I'll read now, which would be that if you did have a motion, it would be moved to determine that the purchase of the CXT precast concrete products, Kodiak and Chase restroom building, as described and presented through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative, provides the opportunity for substantial savings according to Indiana Code 522-10-5 to authorize the purchase of the precast concrete products in an amount not to exceed $117,255, and to authorize the mayor and executive director of Parks and Recreation to sign any and all documents to effectuate the purchase, final terms and conditions determined by the legal department, and to correct that special purchase determination be placed and maintained in a separate special purchase file.
Yes.
So
it would be the officers of the commission to sign.
It would be payable from the worst of
Just what he just said.
We'll start off with that, I guess. Second, is there a second? Second on the shares. Okay, that's for that language. Do we need to need a roll, or is that included in that verbiage somewhere?
That was not included.
Okay,
That would have to be a separate motion. You could maybe table the motion
and put it all in one.
I just wanted to we'll put it on what he said. Else and start talking.
You could amend your motion to add the suspension of the rules or do that.
I'll amend my motion to add the suspension of rules.
Second that amendment. Okay, so we have both of them in here. So I guess my question is, we're finding that this has substantial savings. How do we quantify that?
Because it's been, rather than just bidding it, it's been negotiated by, in this case, Sourcewell, which is where we buy, pretty much all our trucks off the federal QPA and whatnot. So they kind of dictate what it will be.
Okay.
And get better prices because they're buying so many. And we do the fire trucks off these too.
And how do they make it vandalism?
Because if you go in the one in City Center, you have it rather than just getting like wood and like a residential dwellers and the other things. These things are steel, they are concrete, kind of built up there. All the plumbing is internal, and they built so many of them that they figure out what the kids break as much and try to engineer around it.
The TikTok challenge where you tear stuff up, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
over.
Don't mention that. That was bad for Freedom Springs.
Yeah.
We're glad that one's gone.
All right,
I don't know.
any other questions?
Is this separate from the original purview of this whole project?
Yes,
Just an
because
added
we
structure?
knew, well, we always knew that it would be cheaper than putting it in a general contractor's bid. We mark it up 10%. To just go, it's just like when we did the playground, to go and buy this specific structure direct from in this case, the Federal Cooperative Purchasing Agency, and they deliver it literally and just set it on a pad and do it around for city center. I know Adam saw that. It's kind of cool. Just kind of. It works.
How does it get bolted to the ground in some way, shape? or
Correct,
form?
yeah, you get Keith Meyer out to do the stuff ups, and that's about it. It's what we did at City Center.
Any other questions for Kevin? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, nay? Motion's approved 5-0.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Go ahead.
pass it back. Rob knows me, it's much better.
Everybody's name is on here. If you want to sign it, I guess, since they're all there. Start that way. and we'll go with that. All right. Financial report. Good to see you in person, Mr. Stone.
Chrissy, we lost the TVs out here.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on, but they're not talking about.
Kevin bumped up
He bumped something on it.
All right, we'll pause for a minute.
And left?
And then left, yeah.
I was gonna tell him if Rob was here, we would make that much more difficult.
Yes, absolutely. Still trying to ask about the bathrooms of that. Subject ones.
Oh, was it? The microphone also works.
Does this mean folks out on the interwebs can't see us anymore? Or can they?
Everybody can still see. This is just for
It's
your
just
guys'
internally.
viewing.
We don't need the screen, so as far as I know, did you have a presentation? Oh,
Not,
really?
not for the, not anything I need to share, just for you.
There we go.
There we go.
Maybe you can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I good to go? Okay. So first item, monthly financial, that's the live link that's updated daily. As far as the item B overview of the page 2023 captured assessed values, at your last monthly meeting, we had that afternoon, working with the county, they were not yet certified. Those have now been certified. In your packets, you have the cumulative total of 669 million captured across all the areas. In your packets is a schedule that is the estimated tax increment finance. There's a year-over-year comparison as well as just the page 23 revenue projections. Just give a couple quick highlights. In aggregate, the captured incremental values are up about $110 million or 20% year over year. That is significant growth. It's also, when you look at it compared to the base values of the city, the base certified values also grew at 20%. So we have that context, both the base and the captured grew at the same percentages year over year. As far as when we look at across the existing allocation areas, this does ignore, there are 4 proposed amendments, few new allocation areas that are currently working through the confirmatory process. Those all have essentially zero base projected, even if confirmed, so we're ignoring that. But right now, Airport Parkway had a 49% year over year growth. I-65 East is all area, so 16%, Broad Roads 14% cumulative increase. East side is at 19%, central expansion 16%, southwest 40%, Worsville Road at 14%. Each of those areas, some of those areas have multiple taxing districts. Across all taxing districts, while they may have different ones, those were the allocation area totals. Not a single allocation area had negative growth year over year. So the relevant range was as low as 14%, as high as 49% growth year over year. We will start to use this. Our next step, we're targeting maybe the October meeting to present draft of the 2023 TIP appropriation documents, as well as the overlapping the report to units. We usually do that in the fall. That will be a public meeting. And the TIP projections that you see here, based on the certified values, will be incorporated in that. We wanted to give the commission an early view of those projections. This will dictate or drive the appropriation documents as well as the long-term plans. Any questions with any of this?
I've got one, Adam. So if I'm reading your report right, so it looks like we've increased captured assessed value $110 million over the year before.
Yeah.
Got that right? So you're telling me the TIP is actually working?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. The long-term financial plan for the Redevelopment Commission is, in that 8%. That's been the long-standing trajectory. Is to try. This is the largest growth in years, 10 years that we've been tracking it.
Thank you.
I think you already touched on it, but the 3 taxing districts where no growth was captured.
Say that again.
The 3 taxing districts where no growth was captured. The 3 on here.
I think he said it was not included.
I see. There's the new ones that are going to council.
Yeah.
Are not even on this list yet. They will be, because in that case, we amended the central, removed the residential. We added Pride Run, Pride One, we essentially reestablished I-65. Then we had the Emerson Point project. So those you'll see next year, assuming they continue to pass.
Okay. But there are 3 on this list that have 0 growth captured year over year.
Look at the TIP appropriation, we'll pick the one.
What's the name of it?
If I can line them up, right? Central expansion, District 51, Southwest District 51, and Worsville Road 52.
Looking at the growth capture.
Yeah, which, let me see.
That's the district growth that is captured. So each one of those columns, so the year-over-year growth net assessed value, that would be the base. That would be like the cumulative net assessed value, and then the captured growth would be the kind of incremental AV that is captured. So you see the one that's 496%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a captured growth difference in that specific district.
So the zeros, we captured stuff, but no growth from the prior
Correct.
years is what that
Correct.
is. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see the 0%. Yeah. So in that case, like for example, that would be central expansion tax district 51, right? Yeah. So in that case, there's no capture. While there's cumulative NAV growth, net assessed value, base growth in that area, there's no incremental value yet. There's nothing captured in that district yet.
So would it also be fair to say that the 22% growth was growth all in the base? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. The 20% is the cumulative captured growth. What's tricky is the base also grew by 20%.
But I was looking at specifically, I guess, tax district 51.
Yep.
Central expansion. That was one that had 0 growth captured. But
Just in
growth,
that-
and then the NAV
Oh,
was
and then
22%.
yeah.
And that presumably then was growth solely in the base.
Yes, that is a true statement.
Assessment.
So that might be residential growth, and that's why it's not captured. that's why we're changing the second tip and altering it, is because it does have a lot of residential captured within the original lines. And that doesn't get captured, so that's incorrect.
No, you're fine. Right, so, okay. I'm with you now, because they captured 0 in that, right? Whereas in the other ones that have 0, right, growth captured, we didn't actually capture. So,
Are you good?
I think so.
Okay. And if you have questions, please let us know. We're going to take these estimates then and produce the appropriations, the spend appropriations for next year based on the estimated tax and finance revenue. And then you'll see these numbers again in a rounded fashion in the long-term plan relative to present to the overall overlapping districts as well. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to say is that we are planning to send for the round 1 amendments, planning to send the fiscal impacts on those out to meet those amendment requirements. And we just started early conversations planning the allocation area amendments relative to the Arlington Farms project agreement that you all passed at formal meeting. That's all I have. Any other questions for us? Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Department reports. Mr. Hodson.
Nothing legal.
Mr. Watson. The only thing I have relates to the open barrel project. I believe we're in about year 5 on that project. And they have annual report that was due to be submitted in writing by today's meeting. They submitted that this past Friday. It will be presented to the commission at the October meeting. The question I would have is whether you want to have them personally present it at this point or not. The agreement calls for them to come in and present orally, but I think last year that was waived. Be interested to know if you waived it again, then will they have raised the question?
Assuming there's no aberrations in that.
It's all right. Yeah. I'll review it, and as long as there's nothing noteworthy or concern, I'll let them know. Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Nothing for me.
Mr. St. John?
Good afternoon. I have 2 items for you on the agenda today. The first is the second reading of a professional services agreement with Lockmuir Group. This is the same professional services agreement that was presented last month. It's to perform a quarter-wide feasibility study for the expansion of Smith Valley Road across the city limits here. So looking at expanding it from 1 lane each direction to move it to 2 lane.
Motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Brown, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Hoover. Any questions, comments?
Where's that being funded from?
That one,
Is that the central tip? Is that correct?
yeah, I think it'll be between, so it'll be site central tips.
You'll determine.
It's dependent upon, like, phase 1, I think they're gonna be looking at, or, sorry, the next phase will get more of the central, so we're just funding based on.
The east or central determined by the controller's office.
That'll work.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed, nay? Motion approved, 5-0.
The second item I have for you is a change order number 3 for Horseville Road, section 2. This change order encompasses work to remove existing guardrail along the Honey Creek Meadows retention pond. As you come off the new alignment on the north side of the road, come back on a Snopes crossing, there's a retention pond there. There's guardrail along it. Our roadway project is putting in a retaining wall to maintain the rear yard swales of that subdivision. There's a couple of locations where that retaining wall got into the guardrail, and then the rest of it wasn't really necessary. It's not included in our design, so we went ahead and removed it as part of this project. The change order amount is $15,575. The total change orders on this project amount to less than 0.5% of the total project cost at this time.
Approve change order number 3. Motion by Mr. Hooper, second.
Second.
Mr. Harris. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0. Thank you. Anything from the mayor's office? No. Let's see, is there a motion to approve our claims docket? September. Yes. $133,561.30.
I'll motion.
Second.
Second.
Any questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Approved 5-0. Anybody else in the room have anything for us? Anybody on the internet have anything for us? Nothing, adjourned.